All right, thank you, Ruby. And now taking a shift back in studio with a panel discussion. Joining me this evening, Carter Beardsley with the Kern County Young Democrats and Matthew Martin with the Kern County Young Republicans. Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So, of course, we want to start with the big race of the evening, our governor's race. Interesting turnout to see as far, starting with the statewide results. We're obviously seeing, a little bit of a flip-flop between Hilton and Xavier Becerra. Carter, let's start with you. Why do you think so many Democrats were leaning towards Becerra in this race?
Well, I think that Secretary Becerra has an extensive history and proven record for himself, serving in the state legislature as a Congress member, being the Secretary of Health and Human Services who was able to pull us out of the pandemic back in 2021 under President Biden. I think people saw a tested record and understood that that was what California needed to continue driving us forward.
Gotcha. And Matthew, I want to ask you, we had two main Republicans in this race to look forward to, Bianco and Hilton, both of them kind of close, especially from Republican point of views. Why do you think it is that Hilton is kind of leading the race statewide on that issue?
Yeah, certainly. I think, when we look at Donald Trump's endorsement in this race, and it came late, and that's why the California Republican Party at our convention did not endorse, but that really carries a lot of weight. And we look at the last time Donald Trump's on the ballot, 40% of Californians voted for him. And so they both worked very hard. They're both exceptional men, but a strong congratulations to Steve Hilton.
Now, I want to ask you guys about our Kern County numbers. Carter, I want to ask you, we have two Republican candidates leading in the polls right now for Kern County numbers, Chad Bianco and Hilton leading those numbers. Why do you think that in Kern County specifically, even maybe some of our Democrats might have even voted on the Republican side, or do you think it's just we have a larger turnout of Republicans in this governor race?
Yeah, well, I think that it comes down to, a number of factors. And number one is that Kern County is incredibly diverse. I think that politics, it comes from our personal lived experience. And so we have so many incredibly qualified Democrats who are on the ballot, and the Republicans had two front runners who who were on the ballot on the Republican side. And so, especially when the voter count shows that Republicans outnumber Democrats in Kern County, I think it was to be expected. But nonetheless, I was very excited to see how many Democrats and how many voters did turn out for Secretary Becerra, and I'm looking forward to those numbers continuing to grow in the general.
I'm curious if you think that there are maybe even some Democrats in Kern County who may have leaned a little Republican in this race.
I'm sure that there are, a few Democrats who did end up leaning Republican, but I'm hopeful to know that there were also Republicans who saw that the Republican agenda has not been working for working families in places like Kern County, and that maybe they were interested in a change as well. And that's why we did see, such excitement statewide for people like Secretary Becerra. Even when we had so many different Democrats who were on the ballot, a Democrat still was able to come out on the top. There was that moment where we weren't sure if there was going to be a Republican lockout, but Democrats pulled through, and I think that that's going to be a continuing trend that we see throughout the next year.
Well, if I could, I'd say, Becerra was a last resort for Democrats. They certainly did not want Becerra, and his numbers didn't show that until the last month of the campaign. A lot of the consultants in Sacramento came together and said, for goodness sakes, they didn't want Steyer. He's been an outsider for the party, and so they squeaked it out with him, but his track record has not been great, and it's going to be interesting to see how Californians, what direction we go. The percentages of Steve Hilton were much higher than any poll, if these numbers continue at 21, 22, if he keeps holding at a higher rate, maybe it's time that Californians, finally make that change.
All right, now I want to ask you guys about, this race with David Valadao, Randy Villegas, and Jasmeet Bains. Valadao has a strong lead, but Bains and Villegas, they have a very tight race right there. Carter, why do you think, with the Democrats in this district, why they might be so torn between the two?
Yeah, so I think that we have a very unique situation in both of the Democrats who are running for the seat. What we don't have is a traditional Democrat, if you will. We have we have an assemblywoman who has served and who has at times voted for what she says is for her constituents as opposed to with her party, and at times that's even cost her, committee seats. While Randy Villegas is considered an outsider to establishment Democrats. So we have these two differing sides to the same party. And so I think that this neck and neck is really showing that people are turning out. And it really goes back to just how personal politics are and who's really driving that message home.
And Matthew, on this, I want to ask you, obviously with these two candidates that, are so neck and neck, it's, a toss-up of whoever's going to go and challenge Valadao in the general election. How do you think he's going to respond in the general election? Or what do you think this will mean kind of in that general election for this district?
Yeah, well, here's what's interesting here is that Jasmeet Bains has the endorsement of the DCCC, a lot of Washington money, et cetera. And so for this race to be going the way it is, when she had $2 million between independent expenditures and campaigns versus about 1.2 with Villegas, it's very interesting to see the results. And of course we're so early to be able to tell this, but it's very interesting. Oftentimes you don't see that the DCCC endorsed candidate and where the money flows from Washington. It's usually where it ends up a lot of the time, unfortunately, in politics, or fortunately, it is what it is. So it's going to be interesting to see.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you both for joining us tonight. Obviously, again, yes, these results are still preliminary results. Very exciting election night to look forward to, and we'll continue to follow those election results as they come in through online and in our newsroom. We'll be right back after this break.